Richard Billingham, Agane and Nikon Gallery. Agane B. It's an interesting book. Richard Billingham, most people know who Richard Billingham is. I think this was the Ray and Liz series, the series he did of his family, which sort of set up his career. And I think this is a retrospective. I may be totally wrong. This was done as a booklet to the exhibition, which I think this is the pictures would feature in it. I ain't going to profess too much on it. I've got this in my bookshelf, and I just thought I'd get it out and run through it with you, and let's have a look. I don't profess to be an authority on Billingham's work in the slightest. I like some of his work, and let's have a look at it, and we're going to have a discussion on it. There's a bit of damage on that, but I'm not even sure where I got this from, but I've got it, and let's have a look through it. So I've got an essay by Michael Tanatino. I think this was the Nikon Gallery, which was showing the work. I'm not really sure what that is, to be honest. I think this is the most comprehensive exhibition to date by the work of acclaimed British artist Richard Billingham. It constitutes a fascinating portrait of his life, at once tender, wonderful, funny and melancholic. Much of the work has been shown as for the first time, besides the family photographs, of which the artist is best known. There are earlier black and white photographs, a selection from recent series of urban landscapes, video stills, and 4 new video pieces. I know Richard's doing a lot of work in video at the minute, and this is that a picture from Rain Bed? Yeah, it is. There's Rain Bed, that's his dad. Clear image, Billingham here. Okay. Let's have a look through it. This is Jonathan Watkins, director of the Icon Gallery. So, some of it, I presume this is the video, but it almost looks like sort of Margaret, is it Cameron or really early 19th century photography, isn't it? It's a nice exploring, almost like a pinhole type photography feel to it, or a really early sort of wet process. It's interesting. So I think some of you know more about, looking at this, know more about his work than I do. I know he studied his dad, I know he studied his mum, I know they were in the flat, I think his brother as well. It was very crudely done, but almost a sort of beautiful capturing. At the time, it was like, whoa. I remember at the time, and I was looking at it thinking, wow, this guy's got some access. I'm not sure if his dad was an alcoholic, and he sort of charted the life of them in their flat and their lifestyles. And this is the sort of stuff I remember seeing, the colour. It is it is beautiful. I mean, I do like this, and I think there's a sort of rawness, a sort of there's stuff which you don't get, you know. And as Richard saw this and got it and continued it. And I think, to be honest, I just think that's beautiful. I think it's a real capturing of and the essence of something. It's not perfect in terms of its technique, in terms of the focus. It's not only really the almond focus, but it's just it's just beautiful, you know. And you don't have to have everything in focus to create a beautiful picture. Now, I see a lot of people worrying too much about focus now, and I saw a debate the other week in a forum with photographers. People going on about how the focus should be here. Now, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I think this is Liz, his mum. And this was where the story was. You can see these lines, if you can see this. Let me just see if I can get down on that. These lines come across with when I've got the film in, and you're squeegeeing it, and you can get these lines in it, or there's been some abrasive thingy on the film roll. They've got like these white stripes on it, or there's been a bulk, or they bought as bulk loaded film or something. There's a lot of marks on this, and this is what I love. This stuff I love. I mean, I do like this, and I really love this. I just love its honesty. I love its openness. It isn't about great photography, but it is great photography. This is one of the more famous shots out the series. There's other ones with the cats, and I'm not gonna profess and judge and say things are wrong. I just appreciate this for what it is, for what it was, and this is amazing. There's just so much going on, and I respect that. And to a lot of people, I've heard people slag this stuff off. I've heard it, but I think there's a relationship there. There's crossed over a line with people, and it's not easy to do this. He just makes it look really easy, and he's showing, in a sense, the ugliness. And they're not ugly people. He's just showing there's a sort of ugliness within everyday things, and I think life can be quite ugly, and I think there is that, and I don't think these people are ugly in that sense, and I wouldn't disrespect them like that, and that is just incredible. I presume this is the door frame, or it's that the flash is on too fast to sync, and that you've got the curtain over it, which happens if you've got the flash sync on and the flash, and you get some of the shutter speed in. It could be. It's incredible, just being there to get it and just capturing it, and brilliant. Look at that. So I couldn't say what's been shown here and what's not been shown here before in terms of his work. Look at that. I mean, that for me, this is the bit of Billingham I love. This is the bit I genuinely respect. That, I mean, come on. It's just amazing. And then you couple that with like that, and then you add that, and then you add that and that, then you've got something special. And that's the bit of Billingham I absolutely love. I absolutely love it. And for me, when this was getting done, I mean, it was so ahead of its time, and I was so inspired by this. And I was scared of this, because I thought, wow, how could I ever get that? And I've never been able to get this or do this sort of access. It's like it's me sort of admitting stuff. There's a speciality of shooting stuff like this. And you have to be there, you have to live it, you have to be part of it. You have to have the crap camera, really, the rubbish camera to do it, You have to have that crudeness. It has to be part of it all to make it. You can't just slink in there with a Nikon D5 and whack it all off, It's never going to work like that. So there has to have that almost disposable aspect to it, And this was 30 years oldish, and it was saying something there. It's beautiful, man. I think with Billingham, and I don't know if anybody else looking at this would think the same, I'm always looking for something to sort of slag him off. I'm always looking for something to convince me it's not that great, but it is great, and it is amazing. It just leaves you wanting more, But I think the bit of Billingham, I don't know what this is actually. It looks like the hands, almost like video shot stills of the hands. The only side of Richard's work I've never really taken to that much is this landscape work. There's always been a question mark with me with this, because I have the utmost respect for this guy, and I totally have. But I see stuff shot like this all the time, actually even better. It's beautifully exposed, but sometimes when I first saw this and it first came out, I thought, is it just because it's Richard Billingham? You know, anybody could shoot this, and they could, but not everybody could shoot this. There's not a person. You know, you couldn't make that up. You know, so I've always been a little bit hit and miss with this, and he thinks on a higher level with me on this, and I accept that, and I am sure he'll accept my opinion, and that's fair enough, because I'm not a critic of his work, and the fact that I'm actually showing you here is I put stuff up. Yeah, I want to question them a little bit, but I put stuff up I like. I put stuff up which I think other people will find interesting. I think out of the total books I've put up, there's probably one book I don't really like, and I'm not going to say which one it is, but everything else is just like, yeah, love him. And you know, he is interesting. He is a very clever photographer, and there's a lot of beauty in this exposure, a lot of beauty in the composition. He gets it. But for me, I've never saw it as strong as his work on his parents and his family and his brother. I'm trying to run that off in a sort of line. I'm really pleased I've got this. Let's have a look at that. So I guess this is the video stuff. And I guess this part I've made up. I don't know if there was time-based stuff in this, the actual videos we're playing. But it's interesting. I guess it's interesting because it's not. I don't think it's a publication book. It's obviously for an exhibition, and I don't know if there's an IS number on it. I'll have a look. So a short, by no means exhaustive glossary. Alcohol and cigarettes. Look at the cigarettes and raise hand in the collage composed of 36 photos. Cigarettes and alcohol are the focal points of pleasure for Ray and Liz. The desire for tobacco seems to be shared. Alcohol is Ray's domain. So we'll go back to that. And I'm sure we all know people like this as well. Their domain is alcohol. And it's great observation. I love this sort of stuff. I find it really interesting. I'm never going to criticise this sort of stuff. I think he did a lot of good for the British photography scene, and he changed a few things as well, and I respect that. This is a sort of biography and his exhibitions. His final landscape shot. Anyway, go and check his work out. I'll put a link to Richard's work, his website and stuff. Go and check his work out, because it's beautiful. You know, his portrait, his family, his lifestyle, his documentary, the crudeness, the beautiful aspect of it is incredible. Thank you.